Hey guys, hope you're doing well. There's two videos that I've been meaning to do for a while, but my schedule's been pretty busy, as you may or may not know. But now I have some time to make these for you, and for everyone, for myself as well, because what heals me heals you, what heals you heals me, and all that stuff. So the first video I want to make right now is just talking about the ego in terms of how it shows up, how it may show up for you, how it's been showing up for me when you're going through big life transitions. And I've talked about the ego before. Everyone talks about the ego, everyone hates on the ego, and it takes time and practice to accept it and to see it as a growth tool and as a sign, as an indicator that you are growing and that you are really aligning with your higher self, that you are connecting to light and love energies, because that's the only time that the ego is really present and is really disruptive. And it's funny though, because the ego wears a lot of masks. So today I just want to tell you about, my experiences in hopes that it will help you kind of understand maybe your own ego and how maybe it shows up for you in a similar way. The ego plays a lot of tricks, and I noticed a huge mask that it wears for me particularly lately. Because my life has been obviously going through a huge transformation. That's why I think that this video has to come out now, because we're all going through this huge transition, and we have been really since 2014. It's just been nonstop, go, 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 people coming, going, transitioning into careers, really connecting to our life purpose. And it's been one hell of a ride. We have been doing a lot of the groundwork and, the purging and the releasing of things inside of ourselves, letting go of old belief systems, also physically moving, letting go of things that no longer serve us, having, to reevaluate all of our relationships, and of course our relationship with ourselves. So I noticed that my ego has really been fearful of change, which we all know. The ego hates change, is fearful of change, will do anything in its power to stop you from changing. It will do anything it can, including this tricky one that I noticed recently, is masking itself. And I was having this fear lately come up a few times with things not happening on my timeline. And I'm sure we've all done this. We understand by now, most of us, that everything happens at the perfect divine time. And that means that everything is always working out for the greater good, for my good, for your good, even if it doesn't seem like it in the moment. We all know that. But you know what? When you're going through the middle of something and the timeline drastically shifts from your perception here on Earth, from your humanly, from your human perspective, everything is like all over the place just because this linear timeline of ours that we're seeing has changed. We know that in truth, everything is infinite and is going out in terms of figure eights and circles, and everything is eternal. Life is eternal, energy is eternal, love is eternal. The universe, nothing has an end point, but us humans have an end point a lot of the time. It's this goal that we want to get to. It's X amount of dollars we want to make every year. It's this, it's that. You die in this physical body, and that's that. And it's like, obviously there's so much more to life than this linear timeline that we're caught up in, and we can so easily just get lost in that, which is a human thing to do. So that's fine. But it's just so funny, because as soon as something happens and your timeline is altered, especially, for example, with me, like some traveling deadlines have changed, some work projects have changed, just the timelines of everything have shifted, which means, I have more time with myself, time to clear more things out that no longer serve me and my purpose, time to rest, time to recuperate, time to gear up and get ready for when that time does come. Because it's always about being present in the everyday moment, in every moment possible. But if we're always chasing this end point, and then the end point somehow moves further away from us, from our perspective, we kind of freak out. And the mask that the ego likes to wear is this. It will, make you think, and you'll catch yourself thinking, or I certainly have lately, that, well, I don't want that. I don't want things to be stagnant because, that means that I'm going backwards in time, or that means that I'm going to my old past habits and patterns, situations, relationships, whatever. I don't want to be stuck. And that's this victim kind of state of consciousness that will come up, is I don't want to be stuck. If a deadline changes, if the timeline that you had in mind changed, obviously the thing to do is to let go and just accept that, and to go on continuing to live in the present moment. And when that time comes for whatever project to happen, it will happen. But the ego likes to play victim and say, oh my God, that means that you're stuck, and that means that you're stagnant, and that means that you're not moving forward. And it will try to disguise itself as that. The fear will appear to be that, oh my God, I'm stuck, I'm stagnant, I'm not moving forward. Maybe I'm moving back, I don't know, but I'm stuck right now. And that's how the ego will disguise itself. But remember what I said earlier, the ego will not pipe up if things are comfortable. Because when things stay the same, the ego doesn't have anything to say. If you're living your day-to-day routine without any changes and everything goes according to your plan, how you want things to be on your timeline, you don't hear from your ego too much. Why? Because it's quiet. Why? Because it's content. Why? Because everything is staying the same. So, ask yourself, am I really stuck? Am I really stagnant? Because if I was, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be hearing from my ego right now as much as I am. And my ego has been loud and roaring and just like a really violent dog, or just a kid having a complete huge tantrum. And why? Because it senses that I am changing. The ego can sense that even if things aren't changing in my physical reality right in this second, it can sense that change is coming along the horizon. It can sense that change is happening on deeper levels than what's happening in this physical reality. And that is why it will disguise itself and will try to trick you, and it will try to trip you up and try to get you to think that, oh my God, I'm stuck. Oh my God, I'm not moving forward. If that project deadline was extended, or if I'm not going to go to this place or meet this person until that day instead of this day, oh my God, that means I'm stuck. That means I'm not moving forward, blah, 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 blah. And it will get you hooked on that. When in reality, you are changing. We're all changing. We're all going through this huge transition right now. And if we weren't, like I said, the ego wouldn't be coming up, because the ego loves when things stay the same. Your ego loves when you see the same people, you have the same conversations, you have the same job, you go to the same place every day, you buy groceries at the same store, you walk down the same street, it's safe. And it loves that, and that's why you won't really hear your ego roaring or screaming at you when things are in routine and when things are staying the same. When they're truly staying the same, you won't hear much from your ego, because it'll be quiet, because it'll be content and happy. And use that as a growth detector. Use that as a tool. Use that as a reminder of, hey, I feel like freaking the F out right now. And I feel like, this is really scary. And even though I may have feelings of being stuck and stagnant, I know that I am not. I know that I am moving forward. And I trust in that, because I trust in myself. I trust in my path. I trust my gut and my intuition and my angels. And I know that I'm guided every step along the way. I know that I'm changing and that we're all changing on so many levels. And that's for the greater good. We're changing in a really positive way. And it's positive to welcome in this change. And if you hear yourself freaking out, or if you want and have that urge to freak out, you don't have to get mad at your ego about it. Try to come from the approach of appreciating your ego for, illuminating what's really going on. And that is the fact that you are growing, that you are changing on so many levels that you can't even physically see. Because that is why your ego is freaking out. Because it's almost like it's dying. It's like, no, you're going to change without me, but that's not safe, and blah, 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 blah. It'll come up with any excuse it can to stop you. It will come up with anything. It will disguise itself. It will wear a million different color masks to try to convince you to play it small, to not step up to the plate, to not shine. And that's not what we're here to do, folks. We are here alive on this earth right now to do the complete opposite. And that's why the ego is like so shaken up, especially lately for many of us, because we are making a difference. We are stepping up to the plate. We are shining bright. And we are living our life purpose. And we are starting to see the rewards and reap all the rewards for all the hard work we've done. And we deserve that. We deserve to welcome this abundance into our lives. We deserve to be happy, to feel peace, to welcome that within and then share that to the outside world and to welcome that into our world in general. We deserve that and we need it. And people need you to show up, to stand up for who you are, to be kind to yourself, to love yourself, and to love others, and to trust your gut. It's as simple as that, to listen to your intuition and to do what you feel your life purpose is. And if you need clarification on that, call on your angels, call on your guidance, and it will come to you. Because the last thing that the world needs is people to hide away and to hide their light and to live in fear and listen to their own ego and listen to their own fear and listen, to all these things that they've made up within themselves, because many times we set up these blocks for ourselves. We set up these brick walls, and it's up to us, It's our job to knock them down and to keep moving forward. It's really, that's what it's really all about. So you can keep walking into the same wall, and it'll disguise itself, like maybe you'll start thinking about another fear, and it'll look like a totally different wall, but guess what? It's the same brick wall that's trying to stop you. And the world needs you. I need you. You need you. The whole universe needs you, because this is your job. This is your purpose. No matter who you are, no matter what you do, we all have a unique blueprint, imprint, positive effect on this planet. We all have a unique purpose, and we all need to step up to the plate and shine, because guess what? We are stronger than our fears. We're stronger than our ego. Our hearts, our souls, our missions, our purpose are so much greater than we can ever imagine. So keep that in mind. That was my main message for today. It's just so interesting to me how the ego will come up with so many different masks to try to stop you. It's funny. And that's the thing. After a while, you can start laughing at it, because it is pretty funny and it is ridiculous. And some of the fears that you catch yourself saying sometimes are very laughable. So that's why it's good to verbalize it, or to write it out, or to have or to out it, to have a conversation with a friend and say, hey, these are the fears that, let me just speak my fears and say them as they're playing in my head, and you will see just how ridiculous they are. And there's obviously a difference between fear that is like life or death fear, or there's fear that comes up for a reason when something feels wrong, like your gut instinct of something feels wrong. But then there's a whole other side of this fear that is just scared. It's scared of change. It's scared of the new opportunities and new abundance and new wealth and new happiness and new whatever. It's scared of that